Labour's plan. Oh, hi, I'm streaming now. Hi. Politics. We're in a welcome stream. Hi, welcome. Those are my political views. And welcome. We're just going to go on a short break and I'll be right back.
That's how you cook it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's Achaidh here. We got some players with us. Hello, players.
Hello.
Yay. We've got a couple of players. We're going to do some session 0 like bullshit today. I'll probably make some maps in the background. This is, I say session 0. This is kind of be a little bit of chill out fun. I was hoping on starting the campaign today, but in truth I haven't even started the campaign prep other than making maps and installing a countertop and a sink. So what we're going to do, so I'll tell our sneaky players that are here at the moment kind of a rough premise, so you two are going to be the first to know. being the descendants of former inhabitants of Tarm in the last campaign, you guys are going to get a letter, a mysterious note, and maybe you have to ask a friend to translate it for you depending on your status, but it's going to be sent from someone in Tarm. Now, what I would ask for all of you is I'm going to ask for an NPC, someone in Tarm that you know other than your either like father or grandfather, like who aside from whoever was in the last campaign. Does that make sense? So like an uncle, or maybe just a friend of your father's, or just someone you'd probably met years ago when you were last visiting Tarm. And wherever you are at the moment is entirely up to you before you head to Tarm. So does that kind of make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Yes. So basically, there's going to be someone in Tarm other than whoever was in the last campaign that you're connected to. So, because I like to have a resource that you guys can draw upon. So, does anyone want to kind of go first, and we can just kind of blare ideas out there? A volunteer, perhaps.
No, I can go first.
Snow. Snow. So you're the descendant of Santiago, if I recall, or Fernando. I don't know if we picked.
I haven't decided which one it was.
Okay.
It's either Fernando or Santiago.
Okay.
I think maybe Santiago, because he was the first one, right? Or was it Fernando?
Santiago was the first one, and
the original.
Yeah, Fernando had the bigger moustache.
Right.
And the droopy hat and the more droopy persona.
Well, my thinking was that I could actually be, a descendant of Fernando, or no, excuse me, of Santiago.
Yep.
And maybe I was coming to see Fernando because my father had passed away. So I was coming from, where I was at, being fostered or trained, and coming back after a period of, I don't know, maybe say 15 years for my father's funeral. I think that was, and so I can come to see my uncle at my father's funeral, something like that. That was
okay. Well, I like the thought. We have, we're going to have a collective binding reason for everyone to be there, just to kind of bring the party together, so to speak. But we could tie in. A funeral. I like the idea of that, so let's go with that. Today is all about yesing as much as possible, so that's now canon. Okay, so you're there for your father's. Is that going to be it depends how old Santiago made it. So Santiago's funeral, perhaps.
Yeah. How much is it? 100 years that it's been?
We'll bring it down to 50.
Yeah,
so it makes sense.
My grandfather. He might be my grandfather instead of my father.
Okay, your grandfather's funeral.
Just
Okay.
The age of the character.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it's that idea. So and my great uncle was probably still, yes, senor.
So we're going to add a page here. We're going to call this Santiago's friend for now, because I don't know what his name is. So, right. So who was it that Santiago, when you were last in Tarm, introduced you to? So maybe it's a good idea to think of, like, were there any people that he was connected with, or other NPCs in town that you think he might have been connected with, or someone... It could be someone old or young, so it could be a descendant of someone. Like, does your mind go to anything in particular?
Well, my thinking would be that it would be somebody who is connected with the noble household.
Yeah.
So it would be somebody who was, a friend or another member of the household. Like a good example, let's say the stableman. We could take that out as a character. So perhaps his good friend from childhood is the man who now runs, or is in line to run the noble's stables in the Tarn estate.
Okay, stable master.
I don't know his name, but
fantastic. Well, what do you like for a name?
I actually like the random names because they're so random that they beat what I might think of.
Okay. Do you want me to just whop something up and
Yeah, no, that
have
would
an
work
actor,
great.
new actor? Is new actor 8 at the moment, but do I have to select anything for him to get a random name? I think I actually do. God damn it. Character creation. So is he a human?
Yeah, I would think he would be a human.
Human. Where do you think he would be from in human land?
Probably Aberland, because that's where the horsies come from.
Okay, I'm going to put Midland
Locally.
because that's the only one I have. But that's close enough, right? I think the names are probably all the same. So we can just kind of submit here. And it hasn't actually done anything. Fantastic, we're off to a good start. Okay, we'll come back to the name. What I'll ask for instead, while I try and figure out how to do the name, is what's your character's memory of last time they were there? Did something happen, or was there something humorous or something scary, or and you could have been 5 years old, you could have been 15, take your pick, world's your oyster. What happened, if anything? Maybe the two of you got into trouble together, maybe he saved you from something.
We stole Sighard's horse.
Okay.
I think that would not I mean, we were gonna bring it back, I swear. But,
okay.
We got into trouble when we maybe went joyriding on his very, very expensive Chilean warhorse.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, Chilean warhorse. Okay.
Well, it's like you can fit one kid on each side of the saddle.
Okay. Okay, I like that. And let's have a look. So as a little bit of canon, Sighard and his line aren't going to be in town anymore. They'll probably have gone quite some years ago. Now, as to where they went and what they're doing, that's obviously down to the character. It's just a little bit easier for me if I shove them out of the way so I can put other people in instead. So they will maybe around that time have been planning to leave to go do a thing somewhere. And Thork's quite upset about you stealing his horse. Okay, so it sounds like this guy's a bit of a maybe troublemaker, maverick. What do you think? What are you thinking, Snow? Snow's dead. It's fine. We'll come up with some random names while he comes back. We'll go for character creation. We'll go species. Go for a human. Reiklander. We'll just submit. Career. We'll just do a roll. Doesn't really matter. Noble. Hello again, Snow.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Communications issue.
That's all right. So, pop that to one side. So how do you picture his personality? Is he cheeky? Is he grumpy?
Oh no, he's very. I imagine him being like the manservant from Blackadder. So very like
Roderick.
Roderick, yeah. Very, very like how do I put this? Like he overcompensated for being kind of wild as a kid. So now he's...
that servant. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Not and so he's kind of like more of an Alfred vibe in some ways, maybe.
Yep.
But not nearly that competent.
Okay. Gotcha.
So he's overcompensating for having been kind of wild. So now he's very much like a rules. These are the rules. This is what you do because this is your job, and this has been the family business for 1,000 years since Skavenblight was a town, an actual town. You know, that kind of thing.
Okay, I'm with you. Was there a memorable item he used to carry around with him?
You know what? I think he carries around the barber kit that was given to him by his grandfather. So he has his hair trimming kit as part of his man servantness.
Nice. Does I assume that's like a is that going to be a Tillian sort of like a razor blade?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, it'd be like the razor and the brushes and just like a shaving kit, basically. But...
Okay. Fantastic. Right, let's come up with a man's name. It's coming up with women's thus far. So what we're going to need to do is create a character. I'm going to go species human Reiklander role. Submit. Adding detail. Right, so we're going to choose a gender of male. Name is, first one is Hardrat Steiner.
Yeah, that works.
That works. Hardrat Steiner. Name. What's his build like? Physique.
I would imagine him actually being fairly small for a combination of both jockeys tend to be small and probably he doesn't eat enough.
Okay. And he's from Averland, yeah?
Mm.
Is that like the UK equivalent to the Midlands? I'm trying to think.
I think it's the way that it's described is kind of it's like rolling grassland hills for the most part.
Yeah.
So Averland is very grassy. It has less rivers than some of the Empire, but it's actually open. It's where a lot of the farmland is.
Okay.
Other than like the immediate areas around the Reichland, so there's a lot of farmland and grazing land there. So it's mostly like grassy hills with the occasional woods. It's probably the least spoopy part of the Empire. Unfortunately, it's also the part closest to the orcs in the mountains.
Our man Van Roland is saying Averland is Burgundy. It's France light.
A bit, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, okay.
I could see that in the description. It's not too off.
Technically, all the Empire is Roman Germany, but
yes, yeah. I'm just trying to think of flavour.
I don't know German geography.
I only have one German accent to pick from here. So, but yeah, okay. So maybe a light German. So we'll go for a hint of German in the accent instead.
Yeah, it's less deep woods, kind of, or like mountain Austria, and much more like I think Burgundy's not a bad descriptor. It's
okay.
There's hills and stuff, but they're not mountains.
Okay. So we have Hardrat Steiner, a stable master. Fantastic. We're on to... sorry, what was the item? There was the razor. Sorry. I need to...
It's the shaving kit.
Yeah, the shaving kit. Fantastic. It didn't save any of that. No, it did. You just have to click on the page. Good lord, that's confusing. Never mind. Shaving kit. This is how I take notes. Is it organised? No. Bite me. And we're going to create a new page. Who wants to go next? Who's creating an NPC next?
I'll go.
Okay, Yoris up next. I'll just put you as Yoris's friend. So, who are you the descendant of, Yoris? You're the blacksmith, right? Or you're a blacksmith currently. So,
Yeoman, wasn't it?
Yeah. Descendants of Yeoman?
Yep.
Are you a Tarlite as well?
Well, I am from Nordland.
From Nordland?
From the Nordland.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that someone in the family moved there, and then I was born there. They probably raised me with Tal and Ulrich equally.
Okay.
With a little bit more emphasis on Tal than usual in those parts because of my heritage. Probably.
Okay. And when you were last in Tarm, which can be however long ago.
I have never been there.
Okay, but you need to know of someone from there.
Yep.
So who from there has Yeomand told you about?
No, I thought that maybe because Yeomand is my grandfather, I think.
He can be father or grandfather. It kind of depends how
Yeah.
old and young and such.
Probably grandfather.
Okay, grandfather.
I'm thinking my father was somehow enrolled in the army, sent
Mhm.
north, met a girl, got her pregnant, but was sadly fallen on the battlefield.
Okay.
Something like that. And my mother told me stories about him, and maybe stories about Tom, or maybe
Yeah.
he did when I was still young. I don't know.
Okay.
So and now maybe my mother is dead, and she always told me to go to Tom and to visit.
Maybe a friend of Yeomand's that, like a younger...
Or maybe even Yeoman himself. Supposedly he's my grandfather. Maybe he's dead. I don't know, but maybe that's why I came
well,
to know.
I'll say specifically I need a friend of Yeomand.
Okay.
So perhaps. So what does your mind turn to if I say someone?
Someone in the Tal community.
Okay.
Because there were some more priests there, weren't there? They're living in the woods.
Well, a lot of time's passed since the last campaign, a good generation or two. So it could be a hunter, woodsman. It could be more of like a shaman, like a Tarlite priest. What does your imagination kind of favour?
That bar that they went to.
Yeah, the Hunter's Lodge.
Yeah. So maybe the proprietor of that.
Okay.
So I was told to go to the Hunter's Lodge. It's the place where he hung out, and he's a good friend of the guy there.
Okay. So this is going to be
seeking my roots there.
Okay.
My roots.
Okay, the landlord of the Hunter's Lodge. And is he going to be like a younger man or someone that, if he's going to be Yeoman's age, he's going to be like damned old. He's going to be like 70. So what are you kind of visualizing when you see him?
Well, maybe it was not a... Well, it was like... Maybe it was a younger person, more a friend of my father, sort of like an adopted son or something, friend of the family, you know, so Yeoman knows him really good.
Okay, yeah.
So he can be a little younger, maybe the son of the proprietor.
Mm-hmm.
So then he would be my father's age.
Okay. So age like 30-ish?
40 something.
30, 40, 50. Sure. Numbers.
Yeah. My dude is 25.
Oh, okay. He's on the older side, right? Okay. Yeah. So we'll go for 40 to 50.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So owner of the Hunter's Lodge. His father would probably have been close to Yeomand, and like he probably would have grown up there. But maybe he has like a reputation of being like the Tarlite socialite, or like a Tarlite pillar.
Yeah.
Anything else that you kind of think of? Maybe that memory. So, no, you've heard of him. Okay, well, here's something.
Well,
maybe you've heard a story of him, a particular story.
Yeah. Of Yeoman?
Of this guy, this family friend.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he was let's go with this. He was the son of the proprietor.
Yep.
And he inherited the lodge or something.
Yep.
But he went into service along with my father.
Yeah.
And at some point he saved his life, or vice versa.
Okay.
Sadly, my father passed away, but this guy is still alive,
Okay.
and so that's why I'm going to see him.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. That gives me kind of like veteran vibes.
Yeah, maybe he even took care of me for a while when my father died, and then went back home. And then
Yeah.
my mother told me to seek him out. Something.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I like all that. So, what sort of regiment do you think he was in with your father? Just like free company or something a bit?
Yeah. Cheap meat shields.
Okay. Okay. And do you have any knowledge as to what was it that you were fighting?
Since it was Nordland, probably some kind of big Norscan warband.
Okay. Nice. Okay. And if he did look after you for a little bit, name an item that is that you remember of his, something that stands out to you.
I'm thinking. When we were captured, your father, he gave me this pendant, but we were captured, so he had to, save it up his ass. And when he died, I saved it up my ass for 3 years.
Okay. So
That's a reference.
so you've got a pretty well used and warm pendant.
Yeah,
Okay.
symbol of Tau.
Okay.
Of Tau.
And I need an item as well that he has in his possession. Keep the pendant. Now give me an item that you remember him having that you thought was cool as hell.
Probably some kind of.
Could be a weapon. It doesn't have to be like a trinket. It could be.
Because he was a soldier, maybe it's a weapon, but maybe he was also like a smith. Oh no, he was the larger dude. Well, it doesn't have to be, but probably like a really fancy sword.
Okay.
That was something that looked beautiful to me. Not just as a weapon, but just as a beautiful item.
Okay. Any particular, like, was it a Nordlander sword? Did it have like an Uric hilt or any particular detail?
No, it was a Reichland sword.
Reichland sword.
With maybe more a fencing sword than like a.
Okay.
More like a gentleman's sword than like something like a peasant would have.
Okay. Okay, and I think that's got us covered. Any other details that are floating around your head?
Not really.
Absolutely fine. It's just if you have ideas, I'm here for them.
Grand Tales of Godbert, of course, but
Grand Tales of God, but of course. Well, thank you very much. So we've got 2. We're going to need another one. Who else have we got in chat at the moment?
Right, that would be me.
Aha! Right. So we have a zealot friend.
Indeed, and I think he's a descendant of one of those witch hunters.
Yeah, Matthias, or oh god, who was the other one who sounded like what's his damn name? It'll come to me at another point. Matthias is the one I remember though.
Well, let's go with him, I suppose.
He was the more likable of the two, that's for sure. Man, I can't spell either. So okay, so descendant of Matthias. Is he your father or grandfather? So how old are you?
My character is 25 as well.
Okay.
So he would be a grandfather, I suppose.
Yep. Okay. So Matthias was your grandfather. So now it's up to you as to where Daddy is and what he's up to. But I'll ask you for an NPC in Tarm that you know of via Matthias. Maybe you've met him, maybe you've just heard about him, but either way, someone kind of close to your personal history.
Well, I have a little bit of trouble because even though your campaign happened like a year ago, if you live in Russia, you're like, it's more like a dog years for you, so it's been about 7 years.
So do you want some prompts? Or, well, you can just come up with any old thing, because it doesn't have to be related to the campaign. Like, it could be... Who would your character admire or look forward to seeing? Or so they're a zealot, for instance, so perhaps it's someone religious.
Not necessarily religious, but I mean, my grandfather is probably cool as hell because he wasn't probably usually around my father and his wife and to give him any parental advice or something like that. He just been come and go for my character's life. But when he was around, he was, striking person. Mm-hmm. And stuff like that, so he probably was admired by my character.
Okay, so your grandfather was held in high esteem. So let me flip the question a little bit and say, when you saw your grandfather and he told you stories about Tarm, and you can make up absolutely any shit here, who did he tell you about in Tarm that sort of... Or who did he bring with to meet you, perhaps? So perhaps one of his travelling companions that you've met. One of his retinue.
Probably. It makes sense that he will introduce me, at least in his stories, a person who he trusted a little bit.
Yep. Not
necessarily a friend, but a trustworthy person. Yep. Maybe a Sigmarite.
Okay. Okay. A priest, are you thinking? Or it can be absolutely anything. So whatever your imagination is.
It might be a Davi, because they usually a reliable bunch.
A Davi? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Dwarf.
A dwarf. Okay. A dwarf. Someone within Tarm, a trusted dwarf. Any idea what the dwarf did as a trade?
I'm leaning towards the usual mining specialist who are more into explosions rather than striking the earth with his pickaxe.
Okay. So I think for explosive, he's either like a very good miner or an engineer, or are you leaning more on the miner side of things?
More on the miner side of things, because he just very industrious about it, and he probably had a listening device that was very cool. Bronze tube sticking out from his ear.
Excuse me, just having some beer. Okay. I very much like this dwarf. So, when you were told about or introduced to this miner, what were you told, or what was the story?
Well, some sort of mutants were seen in the mines, and dwarves had a little bit of trouble to drive them out. And it also happened that my grandfather was around and he helped to a certain degree.
With explosives?
Most likely.
Okay.
With explosives, couple of handguns, and lots of swearing.
Okay. Fantastic.
Maybe he even saved the dwarven beard from burning.
Okay. So is this like an epic crusade of this dwarf and your grandfather as they cleared out this mine from some terrible fiendish mutant cult?
Yeah, it's either that or they were totally drunk and never left a tavern of some sort.
Okay. Well, we'll stick with the mutant because that gives us something to do. So, when you met the dwarf, or when you heard about the dwarf, what notable item were you told about, or do you remember?
The listening device.
A listening device. Okay. Is this like an ear horn?
Yeah, sort of like that.
Yeah. Okay. It's up to you
Because,
if you
know, explosives in confined spaces are
Right,
probably
right.
for hearing.
Okay, so he's deaf, right? I mean, that's great canon. Okay. Any other details about him that are memorable?
Probably throughout his career, he accumulated a great deal of injuries.
Okay.
Like missing fingers, missing leg, all replaced with some dwarven ingenuity.
Okay. Good. Okay. Fantastic. Is that all of you in chat, or has anyone else snuck in?
Nope, that's all of us.
Fantastic. You guys have some contacts. As far as you know, these people are all still within Tarm. So, yes. I don't know if you guys all caught at the beginning, but you're going to have a reason to visit Tarm given to you, and thus you will all be thrown together. So you won't necessarily all know each other as a party, but you will have a common interest as we start. So I think what we could do next is have a chat about maybe some of the things in Tarm that have changed. Now, I'd like it so that you don't know exactly all of what's going on, because then there's nothing for you to inquire about. So I'll give you a few sort of nuggets as to where I'm going with it, and then if you guys have some ideas to throw in too as to what happened at particular places, maybe something's changed to something else, something's expanded, something else has happened. So Tarm is going to be run by a small democratic council in place of the Sighard family, who have gone off and done whatever else. A bunch of people have been appointed. The town has grown a massive amount. It's tripled in size very quickly with an influx of money that Sighard helped to gather for the town effectively, or his family did. And the place is very busy. It's more like a mini city. So probably, 3 times the density, so a little bit more, a lot more urban, a lot less rural, but it still has that forest around it. And I would say I'll pause there.
A little bit like that town with the pirate mayor.
Yeah, exactly. A bit like Blute Rock. Tarm updates. So then we can talk about any particular ideas you guys have. So I'll just spitball some factions so you can kind of have a think. So we had elves in the woods. We had dwarf mines. We had a Sigmar temple.
Are the mines still operational, or are they played out? Because I know
I'm up to
we hadn't really settled.
You tell me. This is where you build a little bit of the world. So I would say, try not to lean into specifics, but be like, the mining industry is big and there's this going on, and then I can colour in the details, so to speak.
I kind of like the idea that they got around to actually dealing with the silver strike that the miner found.
Yeah,
maybe that's why there was so much growth. Is they hit silver finally.
Yep.
After 100 years of trying to find it.
Yeah, and the city growth might cause some traction with elves, because the expanding city needs lots of road. So
And wood, yeah, to keep everything going.
Okay. So I'm going to throw... Okay, so elves in the wood. I'm kind of thinking that... So as Tarm expanded, it would have expanded a bit more towards the mines, so the other side of the river. And I'm thinking almost that the woodland side just got a little bit dangerous. And it's kind of like, yeah, we don't go that side quite so much. There's a few buildings there, but we kind of stay clear of that.
Yeah. Well, if I recall, the Vampire Urban Renewal kind of gave us a pretty clean slate, other than the bakery.
Indeed. Yeah, of course, a bakery needs to be mentioned. Who knows what's happening there, but, well, you guys can tell me. So we've got the Sigmar Temple, the Hunter's Lodge, Fishing Guild, the Rat Hole. So the Rat Hole we're just going to leave a question mark by. And I will say to every single player that your memorable NPC was your grandfather was a patron, and you knew that was where they always met. That was their place to go. They always talked about it.
Much more fondly than it deserved.
Indeed. So, So Rat Hole we're going to leave with some question marks. So Fishing Guild. So it's got a lot more industrial now. So do you guys have any thoughts on what the fishermen are up to?
Probably the river is a little bit polluted, so it's harder to get enough fish to sustain.
Okay.
Well, basically anything.
Quality fish. Question marks by that. Poor quality fish.
Or maybe they've had to move further out, so there's a pressure from them having to go further because of what he's talking about. They could be further out, so maybe that they're almost kind of like we sort of had at the beginning, I think, of the first season, but that they've built up those further out fishing outposts, so they're much more like, small towns maybe. So like things got pushed further away from Tarm proper.
Yeah. Near.
Okay.
Are there any mountains by the Tarm?
Yes, to the east. There's like a mountain range which the mines are inside of.
All right.
What do you think about mountains?
Well, I just was thinking that the fishermen are probably moved upstream, and that would place them a bit closer to the mountains, and those are usually dangerous as well.
There's a little town near Havelford. I don't know.
Havelford, yeah. Yes.
Is that a ship back then? Were we there?
We talked about it, but we never actually included it within the campaign. I had it as a small little outpost, just kind of outside of Tarm. So what's happening
there?
there?
Maybe it's more of a town now, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's where the fishermen moved, and now that's more of a proper town.
Okay, so it's now like a little fishing village town. Okay, yeah, I like that.
Tarm is because Thorg was basically the Lord of Tarm, right?
He was indeed.
Yeah, but only of Tarm. So now maybe whoever is in charge of Tarm is also in charge of that little village and a little bit more land.
Okay.
So it's a proper lord, because Thorg, of course, was not a proper lord.
No, not even remotely.
Okay.
He was too interested in actual important stuff.
Nearby lord. So a nearby lord owns Tarm. He's appointed a council in his stead to rule over.
Yeah, he's like the lord of the county.
Yeah,
but like separate of the.
Exactly. So he doesn't really do anything,
No.
but he's appointed these people to effectively rule over you. So we didn't have a manor last time. It was burned to the ground. What's there instead?
Good riddance.
Probably a lot of buildings, but is there a particular thing.
Maybe it's still burned down and never get built up.
Okay.
And it's a place that generally is avoided by locals.
Tainted grounds,
reasons.
maybe. Okay, that gives me some ideas to run with.
Perceived tainted ground. We don't know.
Well, for sure. There's
Could be
probably
harmless.
there's probably a quest there. Okay. Okay.
There's probably a city hall of some kind. Small.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. We're going to have plenty of taverns, some offices. There's going to be a few nobles. It's going to be like a mini Bogenhafen, so nowhere near as big, but it's going to be plenty of buildings, like large bustling markets with livestock that are brought in from around. So it's going to be, the reputation is going to be prosperous, but like every man for himself and a little bit on the lawless side. So although it's ruled quite tightly from a tax collecting perspective, it's going to kind of be like guards are very lax, don't really care as long as they get paid. Criminals, dangerous at night. Kind of like the Bogenhafen slums. Yeah. It's getting some city problems. Okay, so how about the Ryan presence? So we had Raya there last time, and a temple. You saved the priestess. She was alive and procreating with yeomen. So what happened there?
Well, obviously they had children.
Yeah. Probably about 15.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably more than one. I would think that actually maybe that should be one of the institutions that survived. You know, if Sigurd was kind of like a whirlwind that blew through town, I think it's important that there's things about Tom that are still the same. So I think maybe the temples, you know, that it is a kind of unusual in that there's not a huge amount of Sigmarite presence. Obviously, there's a temple to Sigmar, but but I think it should be funny that like that temple that was built, you know, for the witch hunter.
Yep.
That temple hasn't been like it's still there, it's still manned, but it hasn't been improved. But the Raya and Talite temples have actually been built up. You know, the idea that the locals they're putting up with this exterior religious pressure, and they're not impolite, but they're kind of still doing their own thing.
Okay, I like that. So it sounds to me like in the infamous moment of the god Tal himself manifesting as a giant bear, coming into town to help save them, that it probably won a lot of favour with him. Yeah, sure.
She died from the corruption, and he left.
Oh, really?
Don't you remember? She like bled to death when she tried to use her powers because she did some. Oh, she gave up her ladyhood to save yeomen.
She did. Well remembered. Yeah. Even I forgot that.
So when he came to and she was dead, then he shot an arrow in the air.
Excellent memory.
Hit that wyvern and then ran off into the woods by himself.
Give your elf 20 experience for an excellent memory.
He was physically there. He saw it.
But they already had children, maybe.
Probably. Well, we could make their legend part of the draw, like saints. You know, it's the idea of sainthood. Like they could be kind of saints, even if they're remembered inaccurately. Like there's kind of the optimistic, because I kind of like the idea of that religious tension still being present to some degree.
I like the idea of the sainthood for the lady. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, I've got some things. Yeoman, you left town?
He remarried.
He left.
Yeah, I have.
He's gone. I do remember it now that he says it. I remember.
Yeah, he said he was going north to do something, and then that was the last we heard of him.
Yes.
Well, so that changes my backstory, maybe.
Well, he could have gone north to see you. Maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Does that work?
I don't know.
How old
I
are
don't know
you?
either. How old are you? The web. Oh yeah, we are literally creating a web here. So
So yeah, my dude is 25, so his father would have been maybe also 20, 25 when he sired him. So that's 45 years ago that he was born, and that's 10 years after the events in the first campaign.
I mean, he could have left with a kid that we didn't know about.
Yeah, or maybe Yeoman already had a 10-year-old son who's my grandfather actually, so Yeoman would be my great-grandfather.
Because Yeoman and the other priestess were older, so they could have had kids already.
well, we could so how about Yeoman moved out of Tarm and became a wandering warrior priest of Tal, and happened through where you lived, Yoris, but perhaps then told you tales of where he came from, and maybe that barkeeper was a small, like a young lad, but he'd left the hunter's lodge to him.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound
Yeah,
alright?
I mean that would.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't want to, like, if your imagination's going another way, just
No, as long as nobody lives like 150 years.
no. So yeah, so 50 years have passed. So basically, yeah, no one knows where Yeoman is at the moment. It's like he would have passed through when you were very young, and probably left you with strong impressions of Tarm.
He gave me the towel instead of something in someone's ass.
He gave you a pendant.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Or maybe my father gave me one of Ulrich, and he gave me one in Tal, one of Tal.
Okay. I just want to go back to your guy where. So we had your father though in the war times, being saved by this guy. So let's just have a little think. Well, that can still have happened, and
Yeah. It doesn't have to be in the northern. It could be like a small militia party just somewhere in the Reichland even. I don't know.
So I'm thinking maybe your father was still saved by this guy, and maybe. How old are you now? 25, right? So Yeoman's going to be like 75 currently. Maybe. Could Yeoman still fight at 60? Probably.
Sure. Tal priest.
Yeah, so maybe.
Didn't he turn into a bear or something?
He did. that was one of his things.
Yes, which led to a great deal of confusion. Although, like, literally everyone was confused by.
He rode a bear as well. I'm having a ponder. So, okay. How about this, Yoris? How about Yeoman perhaps saved your father, Yeoman being like an old man and just like happened across this battle and stepped in. Yep. And maybe your father saved him and in return was given the Hunter's Lodge as a thank you. What do you think? Think on it if you like. Like I'm in no rush. I'm just throwing ideas out.
But that would mean that my father is still alive, and I just haven't seen him for a long time or something. I don't know.
Could be. Could be. I mean, it could just be he was given the lodge but never went there. I mean, maybe it does. Yeah, maybe we need to kind of cook this a little bit more. I feel like we need to stew on this.
The bloody flux, the solution to all of the hey, he's lived too long problems.
Yeah, no, I feel like we need to kind of cook this a little bit more, so we'll do that.
Incubate.
Yeah, if we incubate this, you're right. If I go with Thorg, and then we'll come back to this, because I feel like we need to ponder that a little bit. So put your mind to work and have a think.
I'll have a bio break anyway. So yep.
Okay. Do we have an elf in chat?
God help us. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Elf.
I'm pondering. I'm gonna play this guy.
Genius bar elf confirmed. Right.
I'm thinking a couple of different things. I haven't finalized in my head. One, he's gonna be like super hippie, and just because he's an apothecary, so he's just gonna be eating stuff and staring into the winds of magic all the time. Or a Frasier kind of guy, like from the show Frasier.
Okay.
Thinks he's
Very
overly
neurotic.
intelligent. Yeah. Or he's gonna be because he's only like 96, he's like 16 in elf years. He's gonna be just trying to do everything that every other race is doing to experience it, and just take everything almost to excess.
Oh my God, he's going to be an American tourist in Europe.
Yeah. I haven't decided yet.
Okay. Well, can you let me know if there is an NPC back in Tarm? Possibly an elf. Like, it can be whatever you like. It could be a gnome. It could be anything. So, an NPC back in Tarm you've met before, and this could be, if it's an elf, it could have been hundreds of years ago, or it could have been whenever. Someone that's there currently. So anything crop to mind, or anything pop to mind.
That elf that helped him out, or they gave the stone to him so that he could get to the stone circle.
Yep.
Maybe him.
Okay.
The prince or whatever he was. Even though he's not the same
Radrian
elf race. Radrian. Maybe because he's like, so I don't know how far we've gotten along. Has it gotten to the point where, because we talked about Sigurd writing that book that the Grand Theogen ends up using to help create the winds or the
yeah, that's a very good
colleges.
point, because I think our campaign was set just a few years before a war against chaos. If I remember correctly, so that's probably been and gone. That's probably one to pin for Yoris's father as to what happened.
So what I think what we had talked about was like that was one of the things, because Yoris's character had such a role in stopping the vampire invasion.
Yep.
That as I was going on the warpath afterwards. He wrote the treatise on regulating magic so that it can be used against like those kind of incursions.
Okay.
And that's to kind of like help found the colleges of magic or whatnot. So I'm thinking if that's the case, then like this elf is either waiting for his papers or has been turned down, and so he's just wandering into the ley lines, which we already knew that Tom was on one because of the stones and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he's meeting up with that Radrian to try to commune, but all he does is eat mushrooms and stare into the winds of magic.
So he's an American tourist in Europe.
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
I like it.
Okay, a magical quest. So you'll have met or heard about Radrian at some point. So what's the story as to what happened there? Something. Maybe you did something together. Maybe something went wrong. Maybe something went right. Maybe you embarrassed yourself. Maybe he embarrassed himself. What does your mind turn to if you've met? I mean, given that you're elves.
No, I'll say that I probably, like, since I was younger, I probably like was tripping over my own feet and messed something up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say maybe one of my parents took me because he was requesting help because they were still having problems with the stones having some kind of corruption in them. and maybe I'm just going back because I was too young to actually know what was going on. So now he wants to go back and see them for himself.
Yeah. Okay.
Like he's trying to figure out his path, and he doesn't know how else to do it. So he's just gonna sit there and stare at him or something.
Okay.
Leak him.
Okay. That all sounds good. And a memorable item.
Best plans, they say.
Yeah. Let's have a memorable item that you remember him having that you thought was damn cool.
I want to say he's got like a piece of I don't know, a piece of one of the first, like, what are they Phoenix Lords or something? Is that a thing in fantasy?
I think there's a Phoenix Guard, so sure, there could be a Phoenix Lord.
Sure. Whatever the elf like lineage kings are. He's got a piece of their bow or something that he has.
Okay. So let's just put ancient elf antique of historical importance. And I'll let you, if you like, sort of have a think and a cook up as to what it is. So, in order to explain the wood elf connection, I think that's maybe something for us to ponder on. But my mind kind of goes to that there's a treaty between the two of you, with these elves in particular that don't necessarily associate with the wood elves of wherever the fuck it's called, Athel Lauren.
The Aeonir, there's a supplement that actually does a good job of talking about the society of the elves in.
I haven't read it.
The Empire. No, it's really good. You should. Part of it is it actually gives you it gives you the ability to sort of look at it as, instead of the Aeonir, it's much more like a class system. Yeah. So Sighart's character would be a descendant from the original elf colonists whose city is still intact. So he could have grown up basically in a city. But because I was looking at, as chat brought up something on the timeline, and I was actually trying to look at it, because remember, we set this just following the
Chaos War. I was just following the Von Karstein.
That was Von Karstein, remember? Because that was they'd fought in the Vampire Wars. So, some of the characters.
Yeah.
So
yes,
we're 100 years forward.
Yep.
If we're 100 years forward, we're not even really. Hold on. I'm sorry, I'm doing some math here. Was it Conrad that was the one? I can't remember. It was Hellfin? I forget. We did have like an event, but I think it was Hellfin. It was Otto von Karstein?
Could have been.
Okay.
Yes.
So 100 years forward from that. Sorry, I'm looking at the timeline here.
The one yours blinded and I stabbed in the face repeatedly after mocking him.
Yes.
I have arrived, by the way.
We have an arrival. Excellent.
So I'll dig into this, but yeah, no, we're still about 100 years out from the Colleges of Magic, just so you know. Yeah. We're roughly 100 years before the Great War against Chaos.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that's good to know.
Is Thorg a wood elf, or aren't the Aeonir wood elves?
Yeah, I'm not wood elf.
No,
he's a high elf.
They're like they're not like the Athelloran elves. They're different. So there are actually like high elves and wood elf-ish sort of people that live in that society. So he could be basically a noble from that society.
I've never even been to that to Athelloran.
They're from Lorelorn Forest.
Yeah, Lorelorn Forest up in Nordland, in fact.
It is entirely up to you as to your background. Radrian will basically be a neutral party when it comes to elves of various factions, as his interest is just in preserving the land. So so wherever you're from, he'll be someone that I think you guys would probably, if you had knowledge of stones and such, you'd just see them as like a necessary guardian of what is there, kind of like treants from more Lord of the Rings style. So just like a necessary guardian of vital sites across the old world. So there's probably like some caution, but there would still be like exchanges and yeah, that's my thought process at least. Right.
Well, then I don't need a writ because I'm an elf.
You don't need a writ.
Not like a college license.
Oh yeah. Well, they don't even exist. So yeah. All right. So, should we talk about gnomes for a little bit? How's it going, Dako?
I'll let you know. I'll let you know if I change anything, because that might change.
Yeah, expand, change, shift. I'm down with all of it. Let's go with gnome friends. So,
Yes.
who in Tarm would you have been a descendant of? Let's have a think. Because all of the gnomes were assassins in my campaign.
White-faced goblins.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Was there one that was...
Was the pie shop guy? Was he a halfling?
I think it was
though?
vague.
He was a halfling.
He was
Yeah.
a halfling, but
It was Versus buddy in Altdorf that was the gnome that used his old adventuring band, and then there was the one that tried to poison it.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
that we chased into the river.
I mean, yeah.
That my subordinates were planning on burning down Altdorf for.
I mean, if you want your father,
100%.
if you want your father or grandfather to be the person that tried to poison Sieghard, I'm down with that.
Yeah, sounds good. That's what I'd like.
Yeah. Okay. And you've come to finish the job.
Yeah.
The null gnome.
So
I've
if you
decided that collecting taxes is a much better way of acquiring the gold that I so desire.
fair. So it's completely up to you in terms of if you want to have like beef with the town. Like Sieghard's family are basically going to be gone. But one thing I will ask is who in Tarm would you know of and look forward to meeting? So and positively, that is. So maybe someone you've met in the past. Gnomes live quite long, so if I remember, they're like dwarven in terms of their life expectancy.
They live a while.
So
I don't necessarily want to have beef with Sieghard's family or anything like that. I'd rather people just kind of think that I'm a halfling more than a gnome, so to speak.
Yep.
And definitely not going the assassin route. So,
Sure.
I would like to meet some sort of noble who is in charge of the taxes and whatnot, because if that's going to be my job, then I'd like to figure out,
okay.
who they are, what kind of strings they can pull, how important they are, stuff like that.
Okay. So this noble, tell me. So when you last met them, or one time when you had met them, does any story come to mind as to like something that happened, an incident or a memory of note? It could be good, it could be bad, it could be trouble, it could be helping, it could be work you've done for him in the past. Anything that comes to mind.
They're a glutton.
Yeah.
And so every time that I go see them, they're always eating just like tons of food. They weigh like 300 plus pounds. So fat that he can barely open his mouth and talk type of situation. Like he's an unsavory type of individual, so to speak. As far as that type of thing is concerned.
Yep.
Not fat shaming, just play into the lore of Warhammer.
Yep, that's fine.
Let's see. Yeah, so Last time I was there, he was eating an uncooked turkey leg, which I thought was strange and disgusting at the same time.
Okay, that's minging. Okay.
The maw hungers.
Yeah, apparently so. Did anything happen after that, or was it just a memorable, shocking incident for you?
After that, I gave him the taxes that he was owed.
Okay.
He bit one of the coins to make sure that it was real.
Okay.
Make sure it wasn't a chocolate coin.
Yeah, you've got
Who's
to,
this
really.
guy?
You've got to. This is a 300-pound glutton.
This is a noble that I just made up off the top of my head because I see Warhammer tax collectors as gluttonous pieces of garbage, basically.
There was a lot of fat shaming in the last campaign. Thorg really didn't trust the fat Nurgle worshipper.
Oh, perfect. Well, then it's gonna fit right in.
Yeah.
I got him on my way to Altdorf, don't worry.
Yeah, you got him. You got him all right. He was a little bit corrupt. Did he have like a demon upstairs? I can't remember now.
Yeah, it was I think it was the
Oh, it's his father, wasn't it?
The vampire was using his father as a skin
Yeah,
suit.
that's right. That was a thing. Yes. Okay. Are there turkeys in Warhammer? Yeah. They're going to be Reichland turkeys. They're mostly going to have 3 legs because that's what Midjourney gives them. We'll just see what Midjourney says about what they look like.
The 3-legged goblin and enemy within.
There's going to be a lot of 3-legged stuff and 5-legged horses. Apparently,
3-legged chickens.
Yeah. Be careful of those.
My gnome has 3 legs, but one of his legs is kept inside his pants.
So, I think you might have already answered it, but was there a notable item from this glutton that you recall?
Other than the turkey leg?
Other than the turkey. Something you were impressed by, or something that you thought was cool? Or interesting?
Yes. He had a book of all of the residents of the town, and it was a record of all of the taxes they've ever paid or not paid, and their current standing with tax collection. And it was extremely well kept, like unusually well kept, judging by his appearance and overall gluttonous attitude.
Fantastic.
I don't know if that would count or not.
Absolutely fine. And anything else of note about this character? I mean, I've got enough, but if there's any other ideas and you're bobbling around in the noodle.
He frequently has a lot of flatulence and often has the galloping trots.
Okay. I wonder why.
Can't imagine.
Probably the gobbling trots.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Classic. That's now canon. Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, let's just hope he doesn't try to kill somebody in a similar manner to how you did last time that you had the galloping trots or whatever it was.
Inflicting it on someone.
Gross.
Gross.
Well, I mean, I was waiting for you to say that he had an amulet of the Great Maw. That was his prized possession. It's just like this golden disc with like teeth on either end of it.
That would be cool, but I thought that would maybe be just a bit too obvious, you know?
Definitely on the nose.
Little too much.
What's that gold amulet for?
Totally up to you. So, we've got some NPCs, so we can go back to our Tarm update. Add page, and we can edit this page as I figure out how the fuck to edit it. There we go. And we go back to what's been happening. Yoris, any more ideas, or are you there at the moment, still bioing?
I think I have a nice fitting thing.
Okay, let's do it.
That fits in with what has happened. Actually, my uncle was sent to Tarm to be trained by yeomen because my grandfather is the brother of yeomen.
Right. Yeah.
When yeomen went away from Tarm, he simply went to visit his brother. And what I remember when I was really young was this massive man who was the brother of my grandfather, who was also a massive man.
Yep.
And they went out in the woods to kill goblins and shit.
Yep.
And they told tales of going hunting and fighting. And I'm pretty sure I saw him ride a bear once, and maybe even turn into a bear. Kind of freaky dicky, you know, weird tale that a kid would have.
Yeah.
But a massively impressive man. So now my grandfather has passed away because he's old.
Yeah.
And maybe my father has passed away, so now I'm going to Tarm to see my uncle to tell him his brother is dead.
Okay. Visiting uncle.
Maybe my uncle is now the proprietor of the lodge. That's possible.
Okay.
Maybe yeoman saw that he wasn't suitable as a tall priest and said, well, you can run the lodge instead.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You're too weak. Sorry. You don't have enough Chad.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so you're heading over to Tarm to visit your uncle, to let him know that his brother is dead. Is that correct?
And that yeoman has, I haven't seen him in a long time, and nobody knows.
Yeah. No one knows where he is.
Yep.
That's about right. So, just to get this straight in my head, you're visiting your uncle to tell him that your father's died, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I had that clear in my head so I don't do something completely different in the session and throw a massive curveball at you. I'm just going to bring up some other pictures on screen for the random shit that Midjourney's been making. I haven't made anything too naughty recently, so I did try making some K-pop stuff, but I have to scroll up quite far to get to that. We Gucci. Hello viewers, by the way. You're all beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Right. So, we're doing good. Back to Tarm's update. What the hell has been happening in Tarm? So, little recap. The Dwarven mines have grown massively following a silver rush, which triggered a boom within the town. The elves in the woods, lots of question marks. Woods, perhaps a little more dangerous than they used to be. Fishing Guild moved further out of town. Rat Hole, question marks. Ryan Temple, we have Saint... whatever her name was. Does anyone remember? You can have 10 experience if you remember.
Esther, Gilda? No, that's the others.
That's close.
Glenda? I don't know.
I think it might have been a G. Maybe it will jog your memory if you think of Grim chasing her. Picture a stoned apothecary and and his obsession with a priest. Did it begin with an E? I actually don't remember either, so if anyone in chat does,
Put me on the spot.
have a bunch of Hydra points because I do not remember at all. Okay.
Saint Bellis Delphinus? No, Roland. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
No. She's a Slaneshi demon.
Maybe look in Mr. Matt's comment section.
Word man when you need him.
Right, so we've got that. So Raya's temple is going to be a holy site where people are going to visit from like miles around to come in. Pretty big deal to the town still. Sigmar Temple's going to have it's smaller by comparison. A shadow of the Ryan Temple in terms of local popularity. We have a manor that's still in rubble and has some tainted ground. Any other aspects of Tom that you think might have grown or shrunk or changed in some way?
Did we do any business with the I'm trying to remember if we had any actual business dealings with like the guilds from Bogenhofen?
I think there were some trade deals arranged by Thorg.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Like, I kind of would like for the sort of the slimy, like self-interested guild to be kind of like trying to sneak their way into town. Maybe a little bit on the down low. Like your. I was trying to think, like, I don't know, like it could be the halfling, murder guild, like, was it something? There was a tabletop.
The Assassin's Guild, yeah.
Well, no, there was, God, was it? I'm trying to remember who did this, but it was actually very well done. They had these two halflings that were, kind of business.
Was that me?
That was you,
that
wasn't
was
it?
me. Yeah, I was like,
that was way
the
back.
green,
It was
the
those
green
two.
apples,
Yep.
or
yeah, and I just
Pennyworth
the idea of the legacy.
and
Yeah,
okay,
because there was the one that never talked,
yeah.
and there was the other one who talked all the time.
There's this YouTuber I know. He did this thing.
Skye, like I feel like I know this. It's like almost like I watched this.
Now
channel
he's
because
slimy,
of that, but...
paying me these compliments sneakily like that.
No, but the characters, but part of it was that there was the gag, of course, the gag between the two of them. But like somebody like that, kind of interests from outside of town.
Do you think they run the bakery?
Or they may be trying to take over the bakery.
Okay.
They might be interested in taking this prestigious bakery that has somehow survived like 7 apocalypses.
Yes, I like.
Including the one when Brackenhoff tried to eat everything.
God, what was it? Candlewick and Matchwick. That's the one.
That's right. It was Candlewick and Matchwick. Yep.
Yeah, Green Thistle,
Those
I
two.
think was their surname. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but the Green Thistle's certainly above board organization showing up to do stuff might be. They want a prestige purchase.
I have ideas for that. Excuse me. Okay, so we're going to have some other guilds too, like Merchants Guild, Cartwrights. There's going to be like an assortment of small guilds and probably a guild hall where there's a bunch of guild masters. It's not going to be big enough to have like a merchant's quarter and a masonry quarter, but there's probably going to be a market area for said guild masters, and they're probably going to be guilds of like 10 people, but so there'll be stuff. So, any other ideas as to what? Maybe just think of people from the last campaign and what might have. Yeah.
3 people I want to know.
Okay.
I'm curious about how that story ended or progressed.
Okay.
The elf, Rederon.
Yep.
Something.
Yep. Because he could still be alive.
Yeah. And the 2 kids.
Yes. I have ideas, but if you want to just have it as a piece of curious canon, it's fine. Let me know.
Yeah, no, I have no ideas.
Okay, I have some.
I only just remembered them.
My light bulbs have all just lit up, so there's stuff there in my head.
It's funny what prompts do for that. Like, you're like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I remember those
That's
guys.
how you GM. Someone says something and you're like, I've got a plot all of a sudden.
Somebody in the chat brought up crazy humans who thought they were orcs. You're telling me that I could have been a descendant from a crazy human who thought they were an orc?
They
didn't
were out
tell me.
there.
They totally got eaten.
God,
when
yeah.
Yeah, they
someone
got
sent them
killed,
into the
didn't they,
moss.
when they joined the wall?
Well, you guys sent them off to die, I think. You were like...
Yeah, I didn't, but
Well-
yeah, somebody from the party sent them to go fight something, and it was like the freaking vampire spawn or
You
something.
guys never even talked to them much. You were just like, okay, fuck off, we're busy. You're like,
Well, to be fair, we had about 14 crises
I'm
at the
ignoring
time.
this side quest.
Well, I mean, they tried to rob us, and we were like, well, you know, if you want a really good fight, you'll go over there, and they did. So, I mean,
I seem to remember at the time, like, the whole of the land was like there were spirits coming around and like bad shit was happening, and I think that's when the dead started rising all over the place, and I think it
Yeah,
was during
and-
that phenomena.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they're going to own a. Well done, Jeremy. They own a tavern now in town. Green Skin Tavern. There you go.
oh no.
Because it would be cruel if none of them survived. It was slightly. Yeah. God, I remember that now. That was crazy. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So, for somehow, I'll just think of some bullshit, which is a code word for GMing, as to how they somehow have descendants. God knows how.
They ran away really, really, really quickly.
Maybe there are two of
We
them.
don't know what happened. They could have just ran away when they saw the ghost lights and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Did you send them into the woods or something?
The stones, I think. Because we
Okay.
just left. Oh no! It was when we were coming back from the stones when we got attacked by those by the gutter runners, wasn't it?
You know, it kind of, because it was part of that trip, but I'm trying to remember, because we just dealt with some lunacy, and then they showed up. We're like, no.
Because that was the episode the priestess died in. She was bleeding out in the carriage when we took her when we went to the stones. And then when on our way back we got waylaid by them, and then I said, "You guys deal with it." And then y'all were like, "Hey, you want to go fight some beastmen?" And it was the gutter runners at the stone circle. I think that was the episode.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
So I mean, if they ran fast enough and weren't bothering them too much, they might have escaped.
All the Skaven might have been like, what the hell?
I mean-
somehow I got away from them without them hitting me.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
what the hell.
Yep, no stub toes there. Okay. So yeah, we got a greenskin tavern.
I do have one other question about an NPC.
Sure.
At the end of the last season, there was an NPC named Ryan, I believe, who
Oh yes, the Jabberslithe.
fighting
When they got eaten by the
Jabberslithe.
Jabberslithe.
Yeah.
Yeah, did he actually get eaten by the Jabberslithe, or is he still alive?
To
I
find
think a
out,
piece
tune
of
in
him
next
fell-
Friday at 8 p.m.
I think a piece of him fell on the party when they were running away.
Well, you don't need all of the pieces to survive, Thor. Just a few
That's
of the
true.
You just
important
need
ones.
enough pieces.
His name changed from Ryan to Peggy.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, Ryan is on the list as to what happened there. There can be some throwbacks in this campaign. I'm hopeful to squeeze in a few. So likewise, if anyone in the audience is also curious about individuals in particular, yeah, throw it out there. Let's just have fun. Any other aspects of the town? I'm trying to think of what the town mapped actually kind of looked like.
There's an 80-year-old Santiago as the mayor.
Yeah. Oh well, unfortunately, the town's ruled by a council at the moment. Achaidh. I don't know if you caught that, but
As someone who in real life lives in a city run by a city council,
I've had to
that can be
turf.
really.
Achaidh had to do
still
some
have a-
really important stuff.
Yeah, I think he's running the witch hunters.
Probably. He's saving the world somewhere.
Because the last two big witch hunters, one got turned into a zombie, and the other one was a corrupt bitch that burned himself.
Yep. I mean, he could also be trying to hunt down the warrior priest of Mamidia that didn't save enough of his town.
Yeah, none of it.
That's actually a pretty. It's like, I'm gonna find this dude.
Well, first he went after Fatty, and then he went after the hoe bag, and then the little one, and the different nobles.
Okay, apothecaries. What's going on there? Because we had two people procreating, actually, and a young Irish fiery lady with a child due. So what do you think's happening with the apothecary side of things?
She left him because she realized all he did was smoke weed.
Fucking stoner.
You left me here, you sons of bitches!
Just sat around smoking all day. Get fuck
I did
out.
all the work and you ran around like a fucker.
Maybe she beat him to death, and by accident. Just hit him on the head just a bit too hard.
He was shockingly dangerous for a non-combat.
No, yeah,
character.
tell me about it. He had like assassin roles. Okay. So we have
And a
Apo.
psychotic outbreak of trying to burn down the capital.
So their kid would be like 50, so there might be like their
he could be
grandkid, but he could be there. Just kind of depends how long he lasted. I'll put grandchild. Question mark. Grandchild of Grimm. Okay.
Is the ogre still around?
How
Did he pass
ogres
away?
live a while, don't they, Daka?
They live about. Well, he was the one that didn't want to be a soldier, right? He just wanted to be a cook.
Exactly.
He's the new rat hole innkeeper.
Oh well, yeah.
Actually, that's where he was when we left him.
Rat
Yeah,
hole
we-
has
we
question marks
ended
by it at the moment, so I'm having to reserve a little bit of artistic license.
Well,
but
He was too big and knocked half of it down. I think he built something else.
yeah, farted and a frickin' floorboard gave way and it collapsed.
To be fair, episode 1 we fell through the ceiling where we were sleeping.
Truth.
Yeah, that was. Didn't we kill the
You needed.
adventurer? by
Yeah, you
falling
killed
through
you killed the
for him?
halfling died that
The
was telling
halfling
stories.
with the blood bowl stories.
Daka, how long do ogres live? He did tell me this before.
I think it was
Like 120?
120 years, if I recall correctly.
So, Alf would be like old now, but okay.
So they can live a lot longer. It's just most of them, the average life is 120 because they're warlike, right?
And so a cook, in theory,
They
could
don't
make it a
normally
bit
die
longer.
of-
Yeah, they don't die of old age most of the time.
Yeah.
They die of Rhinox.
Quite bellicose.
Okay. So we have a potential cookhouse Alf, infamous chef. Yeah, he could still be there. Any other?
Actually, I thought he was like a super duper good chef.
Yeah, he did well. He kept rolling quite well for his cooking. He was okay. He was okay. He was,
Shockingly good at what he did.
he had the talent because I rolled random talents to see what he would be, and he had like acute sense smell or whatever it is, heightened sense
nice.
smell. So like he can smell sage from 100 yards away. He knows his stuff. Where are we going next? Bocky, I guess. We did have some dwarfs there. We had Bocky and Grunduck, his brother.
One of them died at the end. I don't remember which.
Yeah, it was his brother, I think.
Oh. when the Myrmidian didn't save him and he got immolated by a undead dragon.
Oh, it could have been Bucky. I need to look at that.
Oh
Oh
no!
no! Oh no! Save me, Myrmidia! Save me! Ah! That was Bucky's last words.
I have a spear.
Oh dear.
It doesn't work and it's kind of limp, but I have a spear.
He was super unlucky with all of his rolls, to be fair.
He was deeply unlucky.
Warrior priest, it was like that's what happens when I'm like, I don't want
warrior
anyone
priest
to
is afraid of
use
God.
any of these fancy pants spells and shit, and then someone rolls a warrior priest and I'm like, I don't want balance to get out of control. He just freaking rolls terrible all the time.
I was gonna say, like I told you, you didn't need to worry about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Balance.
the nature of Warhammer Fantasy usually takes care of such things.
Yeah, it really, really did. It kind of overcompensated, to be fair. So,
Yeah, in his case,
yeah. So, what else do we have? What else do we have? God, we had rat pirates. That was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
They're long gone. I think we don't need to. We had goblin pirates as well. Those were a thing. They don't
We
need.
had the shoot the halfling in the butt, dude.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
What's his name?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, you
I
do.
have no idea.
Critical
I'm
hit.
sure you don't.
You know, I was watching that back today, and I was thinking, with a critical hit, it really should have went up the halfling's anus,
Oh no!
and
Well,
just like
you
lodged
can't-
itself
you
up
can't-
there.
No takesy. No takesy.
No, take
back.
these
It
back.
takes his backsies. No. His
Too
back,
late now.
his backseat did takesy. Oh dear, we're all
I thought it
about
was
that.
a female that I hit.
It could have been. I just remember them jolting upwards and having an injured back, a twisted back from your critical hit. And from then on, racism in that town went up 10 points. Nobles aren't to be trusted because they're racist. That is canon. That is our canon and our lived experience. Where to next? I think we've kind of covered a good chunk of it. I'm visualizing the map in my head, and I think we have kind of done. There'll be like multiple blacksmiths, there'll be multiple carpenters, there'll be a shipwright. I'm kind of having the town half built on top of the river as well, like crazy industrialized, like buildings on stilts that make no sense, but it's like, well, if there's anything on the images that don't make sense, there's a really good rule to fall back on, is they did it for tax evasion. So I've got taverns without ceilings, and I've got some weird stuff, but it's like, yep, that's what they had to do to avoid taxes.
Whoa, man, whoa. Nobody's going to be avoiding taxes on my watch, okay?
No, there's gonna be some loopholes. You're gonna have to roll some high numbers to try and catch them out, but it's doable.
Well, because example, the net could be argued to be a roof.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I'll leave that down to your tax skills. I think we're looking pretty good there. So what do I have to do? I have to do a Ryan Temple. I do have a couple buildings that actually look like they could be a Ryan Temple. One's kind of got a tree that's grown to be part of the building. Looks kind of cool. But not like a twisted tree, like a happy tree. We need
Do have slums and
Oh yes. Most of the town is going to be quite slummy, but there'll be some that's more slummy than others.
Yeah, I mean slums, the place where the criminal organizations thrive.
Yes, that will probably be about 2/3 of the town, but it'll be quite slummy, and there'll probably be a slightly better off quarter closer to the mines where the rich people live and all the guards hang out, and no one gives a shit about the rest. A bit like Bogenhafen with across the river, the poor side and the rich side, only this will, yeah. So yes, basically, there will be slums. I'm going to paint most of the town as being relatively dangerous at night. Only because of the lack of guard presence, because they're only paid to look after the nobles, basically. Let's have a think. There was something else that I was pondering. There was something else. There was someone else. There was something... Rivers, something there. Nope, it's gone. It'll come back.
Graveyard?
Graveyard, yes. A temple of Moor is probably...
But yeah, we did have we did have it started and then they left because we didn't the Strigani. So maybe they built it on the old the old manor now where the Strigani left.
Yeah.
Weirdos of more in the town.
Yes. You did more? What?
Yeah,
more!
The old crazy guys.
Not less, more! Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Okay, Strigani Moor, we need to decide. Okay, so let's have some thoughts on... So the Moor first. Priests of Moor. There's going to be some there because there'll be a graveyard. Do you think the graveyard is on this cursed site, in which case the graveyard becomes a bit more complicated, or do you think it's out of town on the hill? What do you think?
I feel like after the events of what happened, that it would be like the funeral, the Temple of Moor or Garden of Moor, wherever it is, would be built like a prison. Like it would be designed to like contain
the cave
whatever
of Moor
was in it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was thinking much more like a thing, like you imagine the stone walls, but it has like razor, like not razor wire, obviously, but spikes and stuff. Like there's like spikes and iron rods sticking out of the masonry, and designed to kind of make it hard to climb, and it's from the outside it looks very peaceful and normal, and then when you get on the inside you realize it's designed to like cut anything that tries to climb the wall.
I like the idea of there was a graveyard up on the hill. I like the idea of there being a more of a Moorish presence. I think that's it's just a very Warhammer thing.
Include a black guard of Moor.
I was going to say, like, they're probably. I have an answer to that, and yes, there is a knight who wanders the Garden of Moor at night.
Wait a minute, I think I know that guy.
Big black
He doesn't talk much.
knight.
Garrett, the black.
I'm not saying anything.
Knight.
I'm just saying there's a
We
knight.
didn't say his name. I mean,
The tongueless one.
I'm not. I tell you, just he doesn't. No one knows his name. He doesn't say anything. So on that note, what are the Strigani up to?
Yeah.
I think they left after.
No, I've made tokens.
because
Shut up.
She wasn't. She's not around anymore.
No, you're just racist. That's what's going on here. You just don't want to be tempted again.
Are these your typical Strigani?
Cigarette was a poor soul.
Does stuff with vampires type of Strigani or no?
Yeah.
They were anti-vampire.
Yeah, so I actually
Strigani,
had them
these
as
ones were.
vampire knowledgeable and more vampire hunters, but familiar with necromancy.
You should have one of them accidentally, or you should have one of them while they were hunting a vampire actually be a vampire. So the vampire turned them, and now they hate themselves, and they have this self-resentment because they've turned into the exact thing that they hate.
Godbird is turning in his grave.
Yep. Do they only feed on pigs?
And halflings.
They only feed on halflings. It's like, they don't really count. They're not really people.
Yarla.
Yarla. There you go.
I just remembered it.
Well
oh
done.
my god, I was brain farting so
Well
hard.
done. Well
I
done.
was looking through old videos and all the names were there except for her token.
Lol. Bonus XP for the elf. 20 experience for you, sir. I can't remember what I said earlier, but I'm old. But... Okay. Good. So yes, Strigani unfortunately have to be there because I've made loads of tokens for them and they're really cool tokens.
That's fine.
So sorry. You should be fairly safe from their seductions as an elf. I say fairly, like it will be a hard willpower check.
Maybe that's where I hang out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna.
He literally hangs out with the elves some. He hangs out in the inn some. He hangs out with the Strigani some. Sometimes he just sleeps in trees.
There was this village or community, small community that we destroyed basically of like mutants.
Oh yeah, yeah, the greater good folks.
Maybe the Strigani are over there.
I'm.
Well, yeah, there was the old stone ruins or whatever.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
gonna try.
First time we ran into town when I got cursed.
I'm gonna try and keep this a little more confined within town. So I'll probably have their camp outside, but I'll have like people coming in to sell goods and stuff, and have their camp outside somewhere. So we can still throw a few of them around the markets, etc.
Yeah, they tend to sheep stuff like that.
Or they maybe exert some influence over one of the members of town council, and they carved a little bit of land inside the town for themselves.
They did have, well, they kind of just set up on the previous manor, didn't they?
Yeah.
Without permission, because yeah.
So the manor burned down, and that's where they set up shop.
Yeah. In the absence of any other specific ideas, I think all of those I'll probably play with a combo of them. Yeah, some combo of that.
Maybe they live on boats now, like.
River Strigani.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like the. I mean, it makes more sense, I think, than living in the woods, for the setting at least. So, yeah, okay. So they come in and out, peddling goods. Maybe there's rumours of them being quite geared towards smuggling, and there's luxury goods in town that people have never seen before that are shockingly expensive and turn out to just be fake.
Right.
And drugs. Yeah, lizard dicks, basically.
I have no recollection of this.
No. I think, yeah. Don't smoke a lizard dick.
Up your nose with a rubber hose, baby.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Do you think there's much in the way of drugs in Tarm?
There's miners.
There will be.
Well, to be fair, they're dwarven miners mostly, so.
Well,
drugs? How do the dwarven miners have to do with drugs?
No, human miners would have more to do with drugs than dwarven miners.
Well, I'm thinking
mining is terrible for humans.
There's madcap mushrooms if they're miners. They both probably encounter them.
Yeah.
Well, we did find some madcap mushrooms.
You didn't.
There's a green skin Terran. Sure, there's.
Yeah, that's how Elijah got invited to the campaign to play.
That's right. I was the Frenchman. I was the Frenchman who was high out of his mind on shrooms. That pulled off the impossible.
Okay. I like the idea of the miners having something, maybe like a snuff equivalent, just like a little pick-me-up, opens the lungs or makes you forget you have any. And maybe it's made from a powdered mushroom.
Amphetamine snuff.
Yeah.
Maybe even some natural fun gases inside the mine.
Yeah, I mean, we did have, that.
There was a chaos infestation of some kind with roots.
Yes, there was.
Maybe that's still grows somewhere around town.
Or it started to show up again.
Yeah.
Yep.
That stuff.
Okay. I like these ideas. They're all good. They're all good. Okay, so we're gonna have
bleeding again.
we're gonna have a local.
Guess what? I'm the apothecary this time, so I'm doing lore plants all the time.
Do it.
Goddamn elves. Hey, lore plants actually got used a hell of a lot in my campaign. I'm putting my hand up saying not many GMs
Lord
actually.
A lot in a couple of episodes too.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Nothing natural because your hits are.
In terms of so I'm thinking two main drugs. One that the humans use in the mines, and maybe a few of the dwarfs like secretly have a little sniff here and there of like a grey powdery snuff equivalent.
Yeah, gives you energy.
Yeah, exactly. Just like a pick-me-up boost. A little bit addictive. It's kind of like let's just say like it's a nicotine type effect, but a bit of a downer and a headache afterwards. And then this strange drug that's just come out of nowhere around about the time the Strigani started selling stuff, and that's going to be different.
Also, the time when the high elf showed up.
The high elf. The clue's in the name. You could name a character Towley. Towley. That sounds elfin.
I was gonna say.
Tule.
Anyway, you could spell that.
You could spell it elven. Yeah. Okay. So we've got some Draergs. What's the main food in town at the moment? Are the Ryans farming? Is it livestock from nearby? Fish?
Goblin meat.
meat.
I was gonna say oats. like
Oats. Very different.
I'm thinking bread is probably you know, and then we could have the bakery have expanded to actually make bread for the town as well as for their export cookies or whatever that we were.
Yep, pies, delicious pies. With,
yes, pies with stuff in them.
We need Todd's pies.
Stuff pies.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, the ogres still
I do have a legacy shaving kit. So
okay, so some gamey pies. With
the ogre's still a chef. It's got to be some crazy concoctions and stuff too, right? Like some of the bringing it from the homeland type of stuff.
So I'll probably go for the bakery doing pies and bread that kind of keep most people going, and the cookhouse that's kind of anyone else that's got anything else, it ends up there.
And three-eyed fish.
Yeah, yes. I'll say now that the fish are going to be slightly iffy, but people kind of eat them because they're starving.
Especially the legs. Fish legs.
Yeah, the third leg's the one you want to be careful of. If it's bad luck to eat the third leg.
You can also use a sawdust for extra nutritional values.
Sawdust would definitely help.
The mill is probably a good part of the food production process.
Yep. Let's have a think. Any rumors around town?
There's a colander-faced demon if you go out at night.
Yeah.
Curfew, the colander-faced demon gets you.
Yeah. The colander face. Yeah.
Does he have a hole in his head as well?
Maybe.
Probably.
Or maybe not.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Maybe he shot the gun and jumped out the window.
Off. Yeah. Anyone who's seen him without the colander on ends up dying a hideous death.
His ghost is still running around.
Yeah.
Poor Ralph.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Oh, God. You know what? There's going to be a theatre in town as well.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a fancy theater. It could be
I think that Hall of Heroes that we made also survived the bombardment thing.
The Hall of Heroes. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking Carl von Bonbon's child set up a theatre here.
Oh, absolutely.
There you go. His child.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. He put it in the wrong hole by accident.
How about small library?
He thought it was a dude.
Yeah, exactly. It was from behind. It was very confusing. Yeah. Carl von Bonbon accidentally knocked up a very ugly woman that he thought was a dude. It's Warhammer.
We know Carl von Bonbon had very specific proclivities.
Yep, and a love child. Fantastic.
That my character studiously ignored.
What's on at the theatre at the moment?
The story of Sighart the Magnificent.
I was going to say the tragedy of Sighart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, this ties in perfectly to the opening. So you guys are going to be arriving on the day of a festival.
How many years after this? After the end of the last?
We're going with 50 now.
50, I want to say.
So that would put Sighart at about 70.
Yes.
If he's still alive, which knowing him, he probably is.
I mean, he's pure soul, baby. He's got Sigmar on his side. He's gonna live to 100.
I just want to point out that
just shrugged
Sighart
off.
the Magnificent sounds way too close to Sigvald the Magnificent, so. Maybe,
He might. Yeah. The other person whose name begins with Sig might take a.
That's the only reason people show up, because they misread it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually a comedy play.
Okay. Yep. So there is going to be a play.
The tragedy of Dark Play Against the Wise.
It's going to be there's going to be a special performance on the night of your arrival.
The fall of Skullplate.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Literally
tragic,
the fall of
tragic
Skullplate.
comedy.
You know what? That's a really good way for me to do like a quick 1 minute recap of what happened.
There's no way you can recap this lunacy in 1 minute.
No. Well, it's just going to be like, here's from the people of the town's perspective. Like,
We have to give it to Rex.
We had
to
this
do
shitty lord.
the recap episode.
the sky went purple. Then we had another shitty lord, but this one was a bit better, I guess. But then he fucked off to the hills, and then the dead came. It was, and then a dragon came, and no one came to save us.
Slaying of the giant by Celeb.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, giant colonoscopy.
Isn't Celeb still alive and around? Like,
Yeah.
He Celeb very well could be. Very well could be.
A bit
There's a
retarded, but
cameo.
yes.
He very well could be. Okay, so we've got the theatre's a great idea. I love that. I'll probably just do like literally 60 seconds of recounting a specific event of one of many that the town went through.
The charge
I
of
like
the
that.
steam thing.
Yeah. The charge of the combine harvester.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, engineering.
Night of the Ungors.
I need to ask Dewey if he thinks that Celeb came back to Tarm and did anything sort of engineering afterwards, or if there was any specific...
Oh, maybe he's the head of the engineering school here.
Oh, that would be funny.
The German
Even
played
if
a
it
dwarf
wasn't an
engineer.
official engineering school, it's just like a group of guys who, make stuff in their spare time.
I think I could make it official. I could give Ritz.
So I'll probably put
Oh, yeah, you
Celeb
probably could.
as currently studying back in Nuln, unless Dewey has anything else he would like him to be doing. But there'll be an engineering school here of relatively like minor repute. But
Oh god, yeah, getting black powder and oil from what was her name?
off.
Oh yeah, the
God, Greta.
the Merchant of Death.
Greta, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Greta
that's right, Greta
Thunberg.
von Thunberg. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Consider
Merchant
me
of Death.
extremely
she-
surprised that the German played a dwarven engineer.
Yeah.
Well, too.
Me
By the way.
too.
Das Sprung Technique or whatever it is.
An engineer's workshop.
Yes. What do they make in the engineering school? What's the current project?
They
make engineers.
Yeah, mini engineers.
They're trying to improve the Hurstel Winkler pigeon bomb. I mean, no, I think they would be doing mining stuff. To be honest with you, like mine engineering. The ingenious devices to use the coal that they still mine.
Pneumatic drill.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm thinking
pneumatic drills,
yeah.
Steam,
Unless we want to
steam-powered
meme
stuff.
Controlled explosives.
Fucking mole machine. Yeah, that's how you find Skaven.
Yeah.
Just keep digging. Just keep digging.
Just go down. You'll hit it eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happens to Midheim at some point, or
You've just doomed this campaign to unearthing a Skaven underworld now. If we make it that far.
We ran them off last time. They won't be back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we kind of ran them off.
Some of them escaped in the pirate ship. They did just fine.
True.
Wonder what happened to them. Okay, so we've got a few things happening around town. This is good. I think that's the majority of what I need to know from you guys. So we've done pretty good. What are we on? Like 2 hours? Oh, wow. Basically cooking with the gases. Oh, we've got a campaign here. So what I will say to all of you is that you're going to be receiving those of you who... It would make more sense, rather, if all of you receive impetus to head here now. Although some of you could be headed here anyway, but either you're all going to find yourselves on a cart headed to town at the same time. Probably the majority of you having been given a note from someone saying something mysterious with an item attached to it and delivered to you via courier, and a prepaid wagon trip to Tarm. More details to come. You're going to be arriving on the day of a festival celebrating the fire that burned down half of Tarm.
Which time?
The most recent time.
Dragon one.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be a carnival and lots of fire and a dragon, or people kind of doing a carnival dragon. It's a great time. Some people dressed as beastmen as well, just to kind of relive that thing. And that's going to be the start. So, any other thoughts you have on who you might know, what you might have heard about Tarm, anything like that, hit me up. Likewise in the chat and the comments, throw ideas in. As you've seen, this world is being created by the players as much as myself, and it'll likely carry on being built as we go. So that's the plan.
I was told to visit Tom, but not go to the Sigmar temple. I don't know why, but they said avoid it.
That strange musky smell.
Yeah. Don't drink the holy water.
Yep.
Yeah.
And definitely don't kiss the prayer beads.
Nope.
Yep. And don't let Sighard inside you.
Does Tom have a wall
Best slip.
or something?
A wall?
Yeah.
Yes, it has a
Yeah, we
palisade
did finish
now.
the wall, didn't we?
Yeah. It has a fairly...
Yeah, we did. And then he made stuff to fly over it like a jerk.
Mm. Oh, how dare winged creatures exist? Damn
We didn't
you.
get the miniguns up in time.
Yeah, the engineers made a big ballista somewhere.
Yes, a giant ballista to take out the next dragon, because there's bound to be another one after the last few years of luck.
Jabber Scythe and Dragon. So yeah, they
Escalation.
The only problem with the ballista is it's facing this direction and can't rotate. So we just have to wait for the right moment.
The engineers are working on that as we speak. It's only taken 50 years.
Yeah, they're working hard at it. There will be a wall. It will be relatively secure. Little more secluded.
What happened to Soren?
It's a good question.
I mean, he was fairly old
Yeah.
before. He ran off too, didn't he? He ran off before. I can't remember. I thought he took off like earlier.
Well, what happens to his descendant, you'll find out. Soren was older, so he was like 50-ish.
And he was trying to get away from that one noble lady that was in that sex cult.
Yes, he was.
The one Jebediah rescued me from by taking one for the team.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen, I've got to pop out. Get back to studying for finals.
Get to it, dude. You could do this. You got this. Do it. Good luck.
Thank you. Goodbye.
I won't dial you at 6 a.m.
Okay.
I mean, 3 a.m. my time?
I think.
Yeah.
Soren's
That's
descendant.
right. He's on the far coast.
Soren's descendant. That gives me an idea. What was the name of the Blue Trot Lord's daughter? Natalia, yes. Because it was not Natalie Portman, it was the other one that looks like her.
Yeah.
Keira Knightley. They're basically the same woman. They both have no neck.
Miss Swan.
Miss Swan.
That's who Sigurd got married to, wasn't it?
Question mark.
Didn't he end up marrying the woman?
Yeah,
that was part of that whole negotiation.
Natalie.
Okay.
Yeah, but didn't Yodokus also marry some?
Yeah, so Jebediah ran off with got with that crazy lady that had the hits out on Soren and the other dudes. She was in that female femme fatale cult.
Oh god, that was
It was more like an organization, as I recall. I don't know that it was necessarily a cult. But
Oh god, there were so many women in it. I get confused as to which one was which. So
Keira Knightley was the Barbossa's daughter.
Yeah, did you marry Keira Knightley?
I think so. I think that.
yeah,
Okay.
I think we rated all that.
Well,
we didn't do it in the show, but
that gives your character something to do, not literally. But that might be keeping him busy. Would you like to know what her deal was?
Actually, yeah, because it was not clear to us. I mean, it was one of those, like, we'll get to it eventually sort of things.
So her husband died at sea, if you remember.
Yeah, we know that because the pirate zombie showed up.
Yes.
Right. We had to deal with her husband.
Yeah.
You did. You shot him in the face.
Well, to be fair, he was not being cooperative.
So basically, the boat arrived back with everyone on it dead. The one piece of information that was never shared was she was on the boat and the only one left alive.
That never came up.
No,
Ever.
it never came up. It did literally never come up. It was one of those things that was kind of hidden.
Is that also why Sigurd went on a rampage after all of the nobles that didn't do anything about the vampires?
It may very well be a contributing factor.
Yeah. She's a nice lady, but troubled. So maybe he's off trying to alleviate her curse, perhaps. Or trying to catch her.
Maybe.
As she runs around the countryside eating people.
Either one. He is a Lord Inquisitor now, so it's fine.
That's
We
fine.
also went to some stone circle twice, I think. And there was something with gods arguing about something.
Yeah.
Oh, there was the one where
With Manan something? I don't know. It was
Jebediah.
Oh, yeah, you had one with Manan and Korn and Manan fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, forgot about that.
And then was that the same episode that Jebediah and Sigurd were in the past fighting against an orc horde?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Because we both rolled like crit successes, and then somebody else rolled poorly and shot themselves. I don't remember what it was.
It was funny.
Was that Reinhard?
I want to. Oh yeah, Reinhard. Yeah.
I think it was.
He was not having a great day.
All right, I'm gonna have to wrap it up, dudes. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you
Alrighty.
to the viewers too. This is basically how I do some campaign prep, which is to say, let's just have a chat.
Let the players make their own nooses.
Yeah, pretty much. What terrors would you like to chase you? It's a nice way of doing it, and other people probably.
The scantily clad Sturganis were good enough.
They belong in all of my campaigns, truthfully, as they do in my heart, and they will be there stealing wallets and hearts from, well, whoever has a penny. Thank you for stopping by, players and audience. Take care of yourselves, and with a bit of luck, and I do cross my fingers with this, I'll be up and running by next week. I do have a lot of maps to make, and I have a busy week ahead, so I have no idea when I'm going to actually make all of this shit in Foundry.
See you in January.
See you in January, folks. No, hopefully next week, but we'll see.
2024 confirmed.
2025.
You beat me to it. I was just kidding.
Pretty much. No, I really will try for next week. So we'll see. If anyone
We'll
wants,
start right before Cubicle 7 comes out with Warhammer.
Fuck it. They'll be making Dark Heresy 4 by then.
After they go through your streams and steal all your ideas.
Oh god, they're going to make a campaign based on Tom now. I can see it coming.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, folks.
Bye bye.